All right, legends, welcome back to day 5 of the Content and Conversion Summit 2024. I'm super excited that you made it here, and I really hope that this is the 5th out of 5 days that you committed to doing and that you're actually doing. There's a bit of a fluff there in my mouth. Flew by. Even the fluff wanted to join in on day 5. So virtual high five for each and every single one of you who have made it this far. So I'm really excited about today because we've got, I think, like 4 or 5 different strategies that are going to help you on what to do at events for like content creation, Reels that's crushing it in an authentic way, Instagram, Facebook stories, which we haven't touched on too much just yet, and then also automated follow-up, which I know you're going to absolutely love. So last chance for you to get the all access pass as well, because as soon as the timer hits 0, that's it, gone. You cannot get the all access pass, and then you miss out on all this training, all the exclusive behind the scenes interviews with our 12 speakers, and entry into the implementation bonus training day, which is going to be happening on April the 3rd. All right, I clearly ate my dinner way too fast today. All right, so here we go. Let's first and foremost talk about, and again, by the way, if you want the all access pass, click the green button, the link somewhere around this video. Do not miss out. All right, so I went to an event probably 7 years ago, and it was interesting to me, and I started to observe not what was happening in the room, but what was happening outside of the room as well. So when people were in the toilets, I wasn't like just observing them, but like when I was in the toilet, I was paying attention to what was happening, what was being said. Was it silent? Was it on fire? Whatever. Then in the queues for lunch, at dinner tables in lunch, whilst people are waiting for the doors to open for the next session, whilst people are waiting for the actual event to start, like what was happening in the hallways and all around? Like what was happening after the event while people were smoking outside? What was happening when people were waiting for taxis? I started to observe that. And it was staggering to me, the number of people who were like, fun mode. Like, fun mode. Right, event's over. When's the break? The break's here. Yes. Okay, now I can speak to my friends. Now we can have some fun. Now we can get some photos. Whatever. So I started a new kind of trend at events. And it's very interesting to see what's happening today in the world of how this trend has kind of developed into ways where people make a full-time income. So what I would do is I would go up to someone who's either in my team, in a sideline, or just someone who's at the event. It doesn't really matter. And I would ask them for their story. So I would go, I'd do this. So I'd have my phone, and I'd go on the video. I'd hit selfie mode, right? So you can see this. And I'd be like, all right, let me go up to him over there, and let's see what his story is. All right, what's your name? Brian. Brian, amazing. So Brian, what's your story with... Right? What's your product story, or what's your business story? Right? That's all I would do. And then they would just tell me a real, raw, clearly not planned testimonial. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you would then warn them and say, hey, I'm going to record this. Are you cool with that? Great. So you record a selfie version like this. You get a selfie photo with them, which is like you and them. And then you ask someone for a full body photo. Right? Full body photo means like you're with that person, and then someone takes like 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps back and gets from the tips of your toes to the top of your head in a photo. Now, that means you've now got a video you can post as a reel, a video you can post as a story, a photo that you can post, another photo that you can post, right? You've got 4 pieces of content that you can reuse over and over and over and over again. You could ask, what's your story with the product? What's your story with the business? What's one tip you would get for people to lose weight? What's one bingo moment that you've had here? What's the best lesson you've ever learned? What's the best book you've ever read? Whatever it might be. What was your favorite thing about that last session? Why should people be here next time? Like, you can ask anything you want. And the goal should be every single time you go to an event, figure out the next event that will be from that moment onwards. So let's say you've got an event in May, and then the next event is going to be in August or September. Let's say September. So you've got 4 months. You've got 16 weeks. How many pieces of content are you going to create? I'd hope at least 16. Right? And that could be photos, videos. It could end up being like 50, 60, 70 pieces of content. And it's only going to take you less than 5 minutes per one. And if it's a one-day event, maybe you can get 5 to 10. If it's a 2-day event, you could probably get 10 to 20. If it's a 3-day event, you could literally interview 30 different people. You could interview speakers, corporate team, upline, sideline, downline, people who aren't even in your team, right? It's crazy what's possible. So anyway, I started doing this. And Reels back then wasn't a thing, Instagram wasn't a thing, but the team became really good at answering questions, really good at knowing what their product story was, what their business story was, what their top lesson would be, what their favorite quotes would be, because when the moment came, they didn't want to let the person down who was going to be end up posting. The awareness of people in the team grew, the awareness of the company, the product grew. It was magical. And then I went into the generic space at the beginning of 2017. So this actually started like 2015. So 9 years ago, actually, that we started doing this. I started to do this. And this is even before selfies was a thing, really. It was just normal kind of photos on like really bad iPhones. I think it was like an iPhone 3GS at that point is the one I had. So anyway, so then like a few years went by and I get into the generic space. And I think it was 2018. I was on YouTube and I saw a video of a guy who would go up to people and ask, like they were driving their car as they were coming out of a car park, and he would stop them and go, "What do you do for a living?" And that was all he would do. So they were in like a Range Rover, "What do you do for a living?" A Rolls Royce, "What do you do for a living?" A Ferrari, "What do you do for a living?" And now if you go on to some sort of social media, it's almost impossible to not find some sort of video where someone has got their phone like this because the microphone's here, saying, "All right, so what do you do for a living?" Or, "All right, so you live in London, like what's your salary?" Or like they'll ask some random questions, but people watch because people want to know what other people do. People want to know other people's experiences. That's why reviews are so important. So this strategy is really taking full advantage yourself or as a team whenever you go to events. Like if you see me at your event, because I'm maybe a speaker, come up to me and say, "Fraser, can I do that video interview?" And just know it'll be like a 30-second thing. Just ask me one question and I'll do it as I'm walking past, right? Or as I'm walking to the next thing that I've got to go on to. Why not? I would love to be able to do that. And not enough people are doing that. Therefore, not enough people are getting better at answering questions and doing little mini interviews. It's not a big podcast. It's not a 3-hour long thing. It's just short, sweet, to the point. You are going to flipping love it. And if you don't like the idea of it, do it to prove to me and yourself that you're able to do it, because getting outside of that comfort zone is where the magic's going to happen. Life is a growth-centric adventure, not a comfort-centric experience. Okay? All right. So I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. She was in the Inner Circle for 2 or 3 years when we first started the Inner Circle and took all that knowledge and now is a 7-figure income earner. I knew her, I met with her, I think the first time was in January 2018 in Nashville, which is where she was based at the time. And since then, she's just had this huge, huge transformation. And she just knows her stuff when it comes to authenticity on social media. And today, I want her really to talk about what she's currently doing that's allowing her team to 13x. Her team has gone up by 13 times since implementing what she's going to share with you. All right? So let's go to the interview with my friend, Tina Joy Carroll. All right, Tina, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
I am doing so good, guys. So Tina and I have been friends for a bunch of years now. I was just sharing with her before. I was telling Svetlana about one of the first times we ever met was in Nashville. Was it the Gaylord? The Gaylord
It
Hotel?
was,
It's like a
yeah.
big hotel, right? Like 6 years. I think it was 6 years ago. It was at the beginning of 2018, I think, or 19. I think it was 18. No, it was 18. And we've been connected ever since, and it's been so great to see your life transformation, really. Your energy was amazing when I first met you, but like now it's just like it's exploded. So I'm super, super grateful for our friendship. And when I'm putting together this list, I could not have the list without you on it, just because you're so real, you're so raw, you're so authentic. You love what you love and you don't care if someone doesn't love that too, right? You're just very loud about that. But what's the thing? And you've obviously had great success over in the industry, but recently, like tremendous success, which has just been amazing to see from the outside looking in. What's been the strategy that you're using or you've passed on to your team that's really allowing you to grow this business to the next level?
Yeah, so, I just got really committed to doing reels. A lot of
Hmm.
that came from just watching you and going all in and doing the
Hmm.
things that you were saying were working. And I committed to doing 3 reels a day, quantity over quality. I
Hmm.
wasn't trying to be perfect and create all the transitions. I was just putting content out there. And I've been doing that for about 6 months now. And especially on Instagram, I really struggled to catch could get anything going on Instagram. Like I was really good on Facebook, really doing good on TikTok, but Instagram was a struggle for me. And I've grown by 3,000 followers over there, which is huge for me. And so, not only that, doing the quantity over quality method allowed me to see what my audience responded to and what to give them more of. And so,
Hmm.
it allowed me to plan, do review, and then execute on what was working well and get rid of what wasn't working well. And it's just
Hmm.
been, at first, it was a little hard, right? Because you're like, "Ooh, I don't know how I'm going to come up with that much content." But it's just like anything else we do. It's like if you decide you want a white Jeep, suddenly you see white Jeeps everywhere. When you decide to go all in on your content, suddenly the content ideas come to you at the strangest times. And so I just keep a list of those in my phone and I just keep pumping out the content.
Hmm. So, and are you following people on purpose to see what they're doing and doing your own version, or are you just really like leaning into like this is what's
Yeah.
on my mind? I'm going to make a post about it.
So a little bit of both. I mean, I want it to fall in who I am and the pillars of who I am first and foremost, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm not going to not be authentic to who I am, but I definitely follow a lot of other network marketers that are doing well on Instagram specifically because that's where I'm trying to go. And then also people who aren't in network marketing who are doing well.
Hmm.
And I'm looking at what they're doing and I'm paying attention to the words, the hooks and things that they use, and I'm just becoming a student of the people who have what I want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you say so it's 3 reels a day on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah, and YouTube.
and you're doing YouTube Shorts as well. Well done. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord, thank you very much. I'm so happy that you're doing that because it's a forgotten platform, man. It's like people just seem to, nah, YouTube, like, wow, it's a gold mine. Eventually, right? It's a long-term play. All right, so it's 3 reels a day. And I guess that you're like, are you doing it like morning, afternoon, like morning, afternoon, nighttime?
That's exactly what I'm doing, and we also look at the time. When I say we, I do have a social media manager that helps me now, with
Mhm.
that, but she and I look at the times and see what performs well when, and we really just try to stay in that, and that's gonna be different for everybody, I think, Fraser, a little
Mhm.
bit based on, your audience and who you're marketing to.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. And because I've always known you for Facebook. Like you're
Yeah.
always the one who, when I go on Facebook, there she is. She's live. She's on Facebook. She's got got the Disney ears on. Like
Yeah.
that's just how I've known you, and I've always been like, she just crushes it on Facebook. So that's her channel. That's her lane. But you obviously want more than just one. You've wanted more than just Facebook. So what was like the reason why you wanted to go on Instagram? Because you were so like comfortable on Facebook. You were doing what you were doing on Facebook. You were crushing it on Facebook. What made you kind of go, oh, Instagram would be pretty cool?
Well, I think it's just like with any part of our business, Fraser, that if you're comfortable, then you're not growing, and you're not reaching your full potential. And so Facebook is very comfortable for me. I can do anything there and it doesn't even really require a lot of thought from me. And so I
Mm,
just knew I needed to step outside of what I was used to doing and what was comfortable for me and just go all in and doing something that was different. And
hmm.
that's what I'm doing. That's kind of
Uh-huh.
that's what's led to the success I've had is just the moment I realize I'm comfortable, I'm like, ooh, I don't wanna be
Mhm.
there. No, no, no. Comfort's not good for me. And so we have to just step out and do more.
Yeah, no, I love that. And one thing that you mentioned as well, I kind of call it like data-driven content. So data is just so important. It's so powerful. I'm blessed that Svetlana kind of went to university and studied it like in a nosebleed deep level. It was kind of like shocking how much that she knows about the importance of data. But like you're talking about like you're creating content and you're seeing what your audience reacts to the most. How do you gauge what's like really successful versus really not for you?
I mean, honestly, it's just what people are engaging in and what they're
Mm.
responding to. And the interesting thing, the thing that gets the most engagement for me is when I am very real and authentic to whatever I'm walking through. So recently I just had the surgery and I shared the entire
Mhm.
journey. that gets a lot of engagement because people are just looking for people that are real and authentic, because it's so easy on social media for people just to show a highlight reel. And so I just have leaned more into that. And so that means for me, like showing up without makeup, showing up with my hair in a knot on top of my head, like letting them see the real life version of me, not just the painted up version of me. It has been really, really big for me.
Yeah, yeah, and you're not putting, like, pepper spray in your eyes and then going live or doing a video, like, pretending to cry. It always makes me laugh, right? And we're all guilty of doing this, but sending the audio message laughing. So, like, you'll be like, "Right, okay, right, I've got to send an audio message, right?" That was so funny. Like, it's just we've all been there where we've like faked the laughter, but that's fine, right? Behind the scenes is like you do it, it's normal. But like the idea of like faking tears or faking laughter, like people can see right through the faking. Whereas 10 years ago, that's how people built on social media. It was like, right, I'm going to go rent a car, a Ferrari. It's not mine, but they won't know. And I'm going to like use that success to build a funnel on a website and blah, 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 blah. Now people see right through it. And I truly believe that vulnerability is the key to unlock the door of authenticity. So what is your how are you able to be vulnerable and authentic every single day? Like, because a lot of people I think who want to be authentic, they're afraid what their family are going to think, what their family are going to say, what's my boss at my job going to say, is my husband or partner going to think, have you lost your mind being so real on social media? Like, how do you teach your team, because the team's growing, it's crazy. How are you teaching your team to be able to do the same as what you're doing? Because to get the level of success that you're having, it's not just based on what you're doing, it's based on what your team are doing based on your success, right?
Yeah. So, I always like to use the analogy of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's all over
Hmm.
the world, right? And the reason Alcoholics Anonymous is so powerful and it works isn't because there's a magic pill. It's
Hmm.
because people in a room with other people who are sharing their stories. And for the first time ever, they hear a story like theirs and they don't feel so alone in what they're walking through. And so
Hmm.
that to me is authentic. And that is what I just try to be. And it doesn't mean that I did it all at once. I didn't just share all parts of me and things I'd walked through. There were things that, would make me catch my breath, like, oh, I'm not quite ready to share that part yet,
Hmm.
and so it came out in stages as my confidence grew. But one of the things I always teach my team is that um, the moment that you share your real story is the moment that you have a breakthrough where people trust you instantly. Instantly, you automatically have that trust factor with them, that they'll go on any journey you take them on because they trust you now, because now they can relate to something in your story. And even if it's not their story, they know someone that has dealt with something that you've dealt with. And so I'm just unwilling to, because bigger than the industry, like bigger than making the paycheck or hitting the top ranks, people need hope that what they're walking through can be better and that they can get through it. And so by sharing your story, what you've walked through, you can do that. I've heard
Hmm.
someone say, and I think it's so important, you help the person you used to
To
be.
be, yeah.
And that continues to change, right? Because as I change, then the person I'm helping changes, right? And so I just think it's so important just to continue to share it. And as far as family, I do think that can be difficult. Like, for instance, I have a rocky relationship with my mom. It's better now, but she left when I was little, and I thought, I don't want to hurt her by sharing that part of my story, but it is part of who I am and how I became the woman I am. And so I just told her, I was like, this isn't to hurt you or to make you pay for what you did again. This is
Mm.
so that other people know that the things that happen to them don't define them and they can become anything they want to. And because of that conversation, we now actually have a better relationship than we've ever had,
Yeah.
because I just went to her and said, I'm going to share this part.
Mhm. Yeah, and this is what I love about this. There's a few things, but the main thing is that a lot of people think that we're content creators, but we're not. We're just storytellers, and that's all social media is. It's all network marketing is. It's the person who tells the best story wins. The person who keeps telling the best story wins. The person who's seen to be telling the same story over and over and over again and gets better and better and better. That's what creates credibility, and that's how people win. So I've got a dare for everyone watching this. And I know your minds are like all over the place. There's so many different strategies, so many different aha moments, bingo moments. But this is an exercise that I want you to do today. right? And if it's like 11:58 p.m., like, okay, do it tomorrow morning. But you can either do a reel, a live, or a written post. The written post is probably going to be easiest for you to do. And I want you to just share something vulnerable that you've maybe not talked about. Now, if it's like dark and deep and really tough, scale it back and think about something that you maybe haven't shared or you've shared before, but you haven't shared the vulnerability behind it. And just make sure that you share the struggle before the success. So the vulnerable thing, a decision that you made, and then what came out after it. Because as you mentioned there, like when you tell your real story, that creates the breakthrough that you need, right? It's gold, absolutely gold. But a lot of people just haven't told that real story, and that's what I want you guys to go ahead and go do. So, all right, so 3 reels a day, the same reels, right? So you're creating the same reel on Facebook, or you creating like 3 reels on it, and then you do it. So you do the same one,
all the
right?
same.
All the same. So you post it, you then you post it onto Instagram, then you post it on Facebook, onto TikTok, onto YouTube. So that's then what 12 a day, 12 reels a day, and you're doing it Monday to Friday, or you like, oh, Sunday's rest day?
No, I do it 7 days a week.
You freaking animal! And you've been doing that,
Yeah.
and you've been doing that for 6 months. You said 6 months.
Yeah, I'll look real fast because
Mm-hmm.
the world's down right now, so I don't know if it'll show me. Oh, it is gonna
Yeah.
show me, good.
Uh-huh.
So in the last 30 days, just on Instagram alone, I've reached 92,000 accounts.
Yes, 92.
And when you go look at like the analytics of that, it's 86,000 of the 92 were non-followers. So I'm
right.
reaching 86,000 people outside of my normal following. And so
Mhm.
it's just so powerful. And
Mhm.
I just understand just with my journey before Reels that consistency beats talent every single time.
Yeah.
I can be the best. I don't have to be the best network marketer. I don't have to be the best marketer. I
Mhm.
just have to be the most consistent. And that's how I got to where I am today. And so
Yeah.
I don't like, even when reels don't do well, I'm like, it doesn't even phase me. I'm just like,
Mhm.
okay, it was either posted at the wrong time or it wasn't a good one, whatever, we move on.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny they say as well that in order to out earn others, you just have to outlast them, right?
That's
Like
it. I
eventually you'll
literally say
outperform
that
them
to
as
my
well.
team.
Yeah,
I tell
yeah,
my
yeah.
team that all the time, Fraser. I
Uh-huh.
say, the only thing I've done well is I outlasted the quitters.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
stayed one day longer than every
Uh-huh.
single person that quit before me, which made the pool of people who they were going to join smaller.
Yeah, no, it's incredible, and I think as well, like it's important for people to know how many followers do you have now?
So on Facebook, 31,000, Instagram, I'm almost to 9,000, TikTok, 57,000.
Right. So, which by the way is insane, amazing numbers. Some people might be thinking, like, hang on a minute, 3,000 growth in 6 months. But guys, like, think about it. That's from like 5 or 6,000 to now. As a percentage of the growth, that's like 50%,
Mm,
60% growth. So I want you to imagine that, like, whatever you have now, imagine that you just doubled it. Imagine if you just 50% extra it, it can make a huge
huge.
difference, right? It's grown. It's grown massively.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's so big. And then
mhm,
I'll have this other platform that I can connect to people that maybe aren't on Facebook or aren't on
mhm,
TikTok, you know?
yeah,
And I would say this too, I just do a lot of batch contenting. Like I just
mhm,
when I am done up or I'm in the part of my day where I feel the best, I think that's important too, to know when you feel the best and create your content then because you're going to be way more engaging. And I'll
mhm.
just create a bunch. I can knock out literally 30, 40 videos in less than an hour just
Whoa.
because I'm just, banging them out really, really fast. And then I have the content to go for, several more days.
Yeah, because you're not, as you mentioned, you're not doing like the fancy filters, the
No.
captions, the transitions, the cutting out the ums, as you're just telling stories, right? So instead of you, because again, like for those of you who don't know, Tina comes from like a lot of lives, right? So her
Yeah.
energy is amazing. She's very good in front of the camera because she did live. She's done lives freaking forever and ever, right? Since she's been able to. So obviously you're kind of taking an idea of doing like a 10-minute live, 15-minute live, 20-minute live, and you just kind of go in blah, 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 60 seconds, 90 seconds, post,
Yeah.
right? Or save it and then post it, right? And
Yep.
it's amazing what you said because as we're doing this, some of you guys will already be aware because it's coming out. We're on the 5th of March right now. I don't know, Facebook Meta blackout. Let's just call it that. Some of you guys, a lot of you guys have had anxiety attacks. you've panicked, you've gone, oh no, this is the end of social media, this is the end of it. There are conspiracy theories already that are going crazy, like, oh, this is all because of elections and whatever. Tina and I are over here going, got TikTok, got YouTube, got Telegram, got phone numbers, got WhatsApp, got this, got email list, got whatever, because you're focused and you know that, yes, it only takes one channel for you to blow up, but if you have multiple channels, you're winning. So how have you felt over, like, since all these channels are blowing up for you? Have you felt more secure knowing that if one went tomorrow, it wouldn't really matter? If I got blocked or I got suspended from one, it wouldn't really matter?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like with anything you do, not just related to network marketing, anything you do consistently over a long period of time, you just
Mm,
grow, confidence grows. It can't not grow as you do it. And so it makes me more confident creator. It makes me more confident leader. It makes me more confident storyteller. It just, if I built a multi-million dollar organization by only using Facebook, what could I do if I expanded?
yeah.
How many more people could I help if I expanded? And
Hmm.
so I just was like, let's do it. There's no better
Yeah.
time than now. And we'll
Yeah.
just muck it up as we go.
Uh-huh. And the last question I think is important to ask is how much time. Obviously, you shared that you can do like 30 videos in an hour if you boom, 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 and you get in that flow, right? And your family knows it's that 1 hour. I got to do these 30 videos. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. For a lot of you guys watching this, it might take you 2 or 3 hours. You might be able to get 5 or 10 in an hour. Absolutely amazing. You're only going to get better at it. How much time does it take you to go onto the other platforms with the same video you've just posted on Instagram and post it onto Facebook and TikTok and YouTube?
Oh, a couple minutes. I mean,
Right,
it's silly not to. It's
right.
silly not to. Yeah.
It really is silly not to. So, Tina, this has been amazing. How do people find you on Instagram?
Tina Joy Carroll. I learned from you. My handle's the same across all platforms.
You're lucky that you can get that, right? 'Cause if your name's like Bob Jones or Mary Smith, there's no way. It's going to be Mary Smith _ 3482784444.
Right.
Right? It's gonna be something like your phone number on the end of it, whatever. So, guys, go and follow Tina. You will see the level of authenticity. It's inspiring. It's contagious. It's not just I think now energy is contagious, and it's important to transfer your conviction, transfer your passion, transfer your energy. But also, people are joining real people. Like, it's not just people joining people; it's people joining real people that they can relate to, right? That they fall in love with because they're doing things that they want to potentially do, but they don't have the courage to do it just yet. And as you mentioned, you always look to help the people who you used to be. So, Tina, this has been amazing. I can't wait till part 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tina. I love that. So good. So good. But honestly, she was just warming up, because the second this part 2, the behind the scenes interview I did with her was absolutely fire. I asked her, how are you converting all of these new followers? And she just made it so simple with the message that she sends to these people. It was amazing. And number 2 was, when building the relationship, what are you actually tracking? Because she actually uses a very similar system to what I've used over the years. It allowed me to build relationships like they were going out of fashion, but also become a good human being, and people realizing when I followed up with them, they actually wanted to reply to me. So she goes through that. And then number 3 is, how are you making sure you aren't wasting your time? I don't know about you, but there are moments in your journey, especially on social media, when you're speaking to so many people and you start thinking, is this going to be worth it? Am I wasting my time? Is my partner going to tell me you're wasting your time and you should just go get a normal job? Right? So she breaks all of these 3 things down. If you want access to that, you need to grab the all access pass whilst you still can. When that timer up there or down there, wherever it is, hits 0, you are not able to get to the all access pass. So do it now. Do not miss out on the chance to get that all access pass, which gives you lifetime access to all the recordings from this amazing summit. I've had so much fun doing this with you guys. The exclusive behind the scenes part 2 interviews from all the 12 people who I interviewed in this summit, and big shout out to all of them. And then the access and entry to the implementation, the special implementation day, the bonus training, which is going to be on the April the 3rd, and you're going to get the recordings for that as well. So you're not going to miss out if you want to go through it a bunch of times, which is us creating like a process from all the different strategies, identifying the main ones that you can implement, how to put it into your schedule every day, and then how to get your team to do the same thing so that you can simplify and unify for massive success. The goal is a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, people go, Content and Conversion Summit 2024, what I learned in the summit and in the All Access Pass gave me this success. And I've done it many times before, and I'll keep doing it many times after, and it just works over and over again. And I would just want you to be a part of that success story. Okay? Right. Before we go into our last speaker, which is my favorite because it's my dad. My dad, my mentor, the reason why I'm involved in network marketing. If I look at the number of people I've impacted personally and directly, they would not have had the impact from me if it wasn't for my dad. So the ripple effect that he's created is wild, 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 wild. And I want to make sure that we highlight him in here to continue his legacy. And I've got a really cool story about him as well. All right. So before we do that, though, I want to just share with you like an Instagram stories strategy / hack. So for those of you who obviously use Instagram and those of you who don't, like this is how it looks when you go onto Instagram. You've got your profile image here, and then you've got all the different circles, right? Now, depending, like if you are using the old version, your photo will be bigger than everyone else's is smaller, but on most devices, it's the same size photo across the top, right? And then you'll have like all the posts, the comments, right? And then you'll have the next post and so on and so forth, right? That's just how it looks. So the goal with Instagram stories is to get as close to the left-hand side as possible. So this is a vertical feed, meaning the most relevant posts for you, chosen by the algorithm at Meta, will appear at the top, and the least relevant will go to the bottom. Now, you might have a relevant post that was posted 3 days ago, and there might be a post at the very, very bottom that you'll never see that was posted 3 seconds ago. You follow both accounts, but you just engage with this account more. And the engagement is based on a few things. The number of, like the watch time that you've had on their reels, the engagement that you have with their posts, the engagement that you have with their stories, and how much time you're messaging with them back and forth. So if you're messaging with the same person over and over and over again, voice messages, video messages, you're sending stuff, you're sharing stuff with them, their content is almost always going to be at the very front. That's why you'll find your loved ones, your closest friends, your family are almost always at the very front of your stories feed, okay? And the same, this is a horizontal feed, right? It's horizontal, so although this is off the screen, all the people's stories who you follow are on here. Now, if you don't follow someone, it won't appear here. The only thing that will appear inside, in between them, are ads. So when you're on them, you scroll, ads, 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 ads. So I've gone on a mission over the last 6 months because one of the things that I get asked a lot is, Fraser, my Instagram story views are down like crazy, crazy, crazy amounts. And it's upsetting me. It's annoying me because a lot of people make a lot of sales from their Instagram stories. And rightly so, because Instagram stories are from people who follow you or stalk you. Now, someone who follows you is someone who clicks the follow button. Someone who stalks you is someone who follows you but doesn't actually click the follow button. So every day they don't want you to you don't want them to know that you're following them, but every day they go onto Instagram, they go onto your profile, they click your active story and they watch it. Right? It's very strange, but there's a lot of people who do that. So, hack number one is understanding that when someone is live, let's say this person is live and you like never see their stories, you didn't even know you followed them, right? When they're live, it's going to appear here. So hack number one or strategy number one is go live more often. And before you go, oh, I knew he was going to say that, like going live, boring, I can't go live so many times a day. If you're able to do 10 stories, 5 stories, 6 stories, 4 stories, you're able to do lives. Because this is how long it takes to do a story of me. This is how long it takes for me to do a story of this summit right now. All right, guys, so I'm on day 5 of the summit. Super excited. Almost finished. This is the amount of time it takes for me to do a live about being on day 5. All right, guys, hope you are doing good. I'm just going live to share with you. This is the last day of the 5-day Content and Conversion Summit 2024. Obviously, for those of you who are in the All Access Pass, you're going to get access to further stuff, and this is where our journey begins. But, all right, so anyway, hope you had a great day. Finish. Do that 3, 4, 5 times a day, throughout the day. And people are going to start seeing your face, your name at the front, and all it takes is for one of them to click on it, to appear, to see you, see your energy, and then you're now no longer appearing here. You're appearing here. Keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and eventually you will appear further on. So the first hack is go live more often. The second hack is go live with a group of you. So yes, there are a lot of people who are going live with 2 people, right? And it'll appear like this, right? So there's like 2 circles on top of each other, you and the person that you're live with. And then your followers are going to see that you're live, and their followers are going to see that they're live. So if you usually get 5 people watch your lives, and your friend who you're doing it with has 5 people, now there's 10 people. And people will stay watching a 10-person live more than they will a 1, a 2, a 5-person live, because there's more people on. This must be important. I need to pay attention to this. Okay? Now, what if you went live with 3 other people? So there's 4 of you. You usually get 5, your friend A gets 5, friend B gets 10, and friend C gets 20. Well, now there's 40 people watching a live. 40 people, of which 35 you don't even know, and they don't even know you. So not only are you going to increase your visibility, increase engagement, but you've also got the opportunity to get some more followers as well. And here's what I really want you to understand about this, because the scarcity mindset is, what if I lose some of my followers to Bob? Like, let's say Bob, you're interviewing Bob. What happens if they like Bob more than they like me? The idea is to lose followers to gain raving fans. It's one of the biggest realizations in all social media and all branding, is that the goal is not to grow the followers. The goal is to grow the raving fans. Raving fans will build your followers. Raving fans are the army that goes out there and collects new followers. They're the ones who say, hey, do you follow my friend Fraser? No? What? No way. Get your phone out. I'll follow him for you. You're going to love it. Right? That's a raving fan. And some of you guys watching this, I'm super grateful. You're raving fans. You're the ones who have posted about this summit. You're the ones who have told your team about this summit. You're the ones who are attending all these. You're the ones who are going and getting the All Access Pass. Right? You're raving fans, and I'm so grateful for you. Truly. So hack number 2 is interviewing a group of people, up to 4 people, which is you and 3 other people, to be able to realize that, hey, Bob's follower could be my raving fan, and Mary, who's a follower of mine, could be a raving fan of Bob. I'll happily lose 100 followers to gain 1 raving fan, because 1 raving fan could get you thousands of new followers, right? Thousands. Okay. Hack number 3 is having a 24-hour reset a couple of times a week. Now, this has changed. So, like, for those of you who've heard me say this before, it has changed. So, this is the hack, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to post on your story, and then 24 hours later, the story is empty, okay? So you post on your story today, let's say I just did that one, and then 24 hours later, the story is gone. Then what you're going to do is you can wait a little bit, half an hour, just as long as the story is empty, and then you're going to post the story. This is just because I'm visual and I have to do it. This story is going to be like a blank screen, like black screen. All I do is I just press the draw button, select a color like black, press and hold the screen, and it fills the screen with the black color. And you're going to write a 2 or 3 paragraph text-only thing. And there's 3 things that it must have. Number 1 is it's got to have a hook. The first sentence, you'll never believe this. Or I almost quit Instagram. Or this is flipping nuts. Or breaking news. Or I use screenshot this. Because I know one of the hidden ways to improve the reach is by getting people to screenshot your content, whether it's in the stories, whether it's a reel, and because Meta get that data, like, oh, someone like 15 people have screenshotted his stuff, like they must like his stuff, right? So you have a hook, then you have like maybe a paragraph with like a story or some lessons. It might be 1, it might be 2 paragraphs, right? And then, let's go story. And then you have the CTA, which is the call to action, which you leverage ManyChat, as we mentioned in part 1 and part 2 interviews with Mary Elizabeth, to create keyword automation. It's super simple to set up once you know how. So they all comment the same word. So the call to action would be, if you want me to spill the tea, message me tea, and I'll send it to you. If you want the behind the scenes gossip, comment gossip, and I'll send it to you. If you like this, you're gonna love a free guide that I've created for you, comment guide. Right? Any of these things. So comment happy, and I'll send it to you. So they comment happy, and they automatically get a message in the messenger with whatever you've set up with ManyChat. That's why ManyChat from day 4 is super important to know. One of the best metrics to increase your story views is getting people to click that send message button, because there's a little like area, and then it has like the love heart button. There's a little share icon. So people can give it a love heart. They can share that story if you've got it accepted, or they can press send message. When they comment happy and send that to you, if you get a bunch of people do that, you watch, your story views will probably 3 to 5x, maybe more. In the test that I've been doing this test for over a year, probably over 18 months now actually, like I've seen my story views go from sometimes 3,000-4,000, and then sometimes like 3,000-4,000 to like 10,000, and then in other cases, like when it was 6,000-7,000-8,000, like 16, 18 months ago, up to 30,000. Like absolutely wild. And all I did was this. So I just wanted to share that with you. And again, those are like 3 hacks. And when it comes to selling in stories, use all the fundamentals that we've been talking throughout this process. Authenticity, frameworks, value first, solve someone's problem, be a good human. Remember to share your lifestyle as well. Don't just sell. Talk to the people, one-on-one, right? As if you're talking to that person. Are you a mum? Listen to this. If you're not, probably not for you. Hey, mums out there, you'll relate to this. Dads out there, you'll relate to this. Right? All of these things, you just apply in the stories. And the best type of content is written, like how I've just said here, written or talking to the camera. When you're like just at the top of a mountain and doing this, that ain't going to get you the engagement, because not many people are going to type saying, this is amazing, thanks so much for sharing that. Some people might go stunning, but providing value and then sharing your side of the story, that's going to provide more engagement than anything else. Okay, so let's move into our last speaker. Now, let me tell you a story here. My dad has made millions and millions of dollars in network marketing after thinking that MLM stood for Make Love Monthly. You imagine that? He had no qualifications, no real hope. He had just had a lot of ambition, a lot of enthusiasm to provide for my mum, me, and my brother. Okay? And when I got involved in network marketing, I think it was the happiest moment that he'd ever had, because now he could build a business with his son. Although when I joined, I was a disaster. They say that every master was once a disaster. I was definitely a flipping disaster. And I think there was parts or moments where he was like, oh, days, this is going to be more work than it is going to be worth it. But I think if he was to answer that question, he would probably say, no, deep down, I knew you would be able to do it if you just followed what I did. And you did do that. So anyway, he's made millions and millions of dollars. My dad has a disease called multiple sclerosis. Now, please, if you have a product that helps with multiple sclerosis, my dad has literally tried all of them. So please don't go out there and throw it to him. And it's hard to see him, because it's a slow deterioration of his mobility, his brain as well. And he doesn't mind me saying this because it's a big part of his story as well. But even though his battery is on 30%, instead of the 120% it's always been on throughout his life, he still knows more about network marketing than pretty much everyone. And it's wild. His knowledge is insane. And if you interview him, you can pull out all the goodness. And, you know, he was going through a situation and he was building his business, and he kind of said to me, he said, you know what, Fraser, I think I'm ready for a new challenge. I don't know what that looks like, but like, I love network marketing. It's the best thing ever. And I have to be involved in it in some way. And I actually took that. I had about 2 or 3 nights, And I was thinking, how could I retire my dad from the profession, but hire him to continue the message of how to be a world-class recruiter? I don't know anyone who's better at recruiting and closing than him. He's just relentless. It's just what he's very, very good at. So I approached him. I said, Dad, how about I retire you and I hire you to be an inner circle mentor? And anyone who wants help with recruiting, objection handling, or closing, they can book a 15-minute call with you whenever they want, obviously depending on your schedule. And you take the call, you help them, they go away, they do it, and then they teach you, they follow up with you to share with you how that went. And he was like, that sounds pretty cool. How would that work? And we discussed it back and forth. He said, I'm in. And the next day, that was it. I resigned from network marketing. I've retired from network marketing from the network marketing as a rep to be able to help other people really level up and leave the legacy to be responsible for people to recruit massive amount of people. So if you're in the inner circle, or you're considering the inner circle, or you're thinking about the inner circle, then that is one of the things that we actually give you, right? I've taken the time to establish all these mentors on social media, duplication, recruiting, mindset, so that you have no reason to feel stuck, alone, embarrassed, or not progressing. It's one of the greatest things I have ever done. And I think I'll ever do, the idea of retiring my mentor and then bringing him as a mentor for my community. It's incredible. But one of the systems that he has many systems, many strategies, is he is the best in the world at following up. He followed up with me 16 times before I joined. Every 3 months, for 4 years, 16 follow-ups before I joined. And he's the person I realized that the fortune is not in the follow-up. The fortune is not in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-ups. And he has one of the best systems for our American friends. It's all using WhatsApp. For our American friends, I want you to use the same philosophy, but instead of WhatsApp, use Project Broadcast, right? Because I know in America, WhatsApp's not as big. Right? You can do the same on Telegram, but the reality is WhatsApp and Project Broadcast, you can do the strategy that he's about to share. All right? Then once it's done, we'll come back, we'll wrap things up, and we'll move forward with our journey into massive social media success in the network marketing space. All right? So let's go to the interview with my mentor, my dad, my hero, Simon Brooks. All right, Dad, so how you doing?
Doing good, mate.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about this. Every time I get the chance to have my dad on, whether we do an interview or Facebook Live or obviously on this summit, it's always so much fun. And I know you're going to learn a lot of stuff. So, Dad, when did you get started in network marketing? What year?
November 1987.
1987. So this year will be 37 years in the industry. Yep. You've recruited thousands of people over that time. Yep. You've done a lot of it old school, right? Like belly to belly.
Majority is old school.
Belly to belly, newspaper ads, handing out flyers, handing out business cards, going to events, bumping to people in the street. And then obviously you've built a lot using social media as well.
Yeah.
Right? So what I want to share with the guys is you have this really amazing system with WhatsApp.
I love WhatsApp. I live on WhatsApp.
So if you could delete all the apps on your phone and just have one, would WhatsApp be the one? WhatsApp be the one, right?
100%.
And this is a lesson that I feel that a lot of people watching this will get, is that a lot of people would say Facebook and Instagram, maybe even TikTok, but like WhatsApp is a messenger app, and the money is made in the messenger. So what do you do on WhatsApp to recruit people?
I like to send a sexy message.
Send a sexy message. What's the sexy message look like?
It always includes income, money. And I know in some companies, some opportunities you can't, but I don't give one. I like to mention money.
Okay, so, but what does the message look like though? Like how does it sound?
Well, it will go.
Is it text? Is it voice message?
Sometimes I do voice. Sometimes I do text. Majority of times, I always start out with text.
With text, okay. Yeah. So is it and okay? Let's start from the very beginning. So let's say you create content on social media. That's step one.
Yeah.
Someone then messages. Someone adds you as a friend or comments.
Yeah.
Are you sending them a message on Facebook?
I'm saying great. I always say to people, I never ever say, give me your phone number.
Right.
It scares the life out of you.
Yeah. I wouldn't give my phone number to someone.
Always say, what's your WhatsApp? And people will give you their WhatsApp number.
Yeah.
And I make sure I collect everybody's WhatsApp.
Okay, so then obviously you create a piece of content, someone comments on it or someone adds you as a friend, and you're basically saying, like, how do you, like, what's that message that you send to be able to get them to send you the WhatsApp number?
I have something of interest that you would enjoy. But for you to actually get sight of it, I will send it to you on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
When I do, can you please let me know what you like best?
Okay, have to send on WhatsApp. All right, so basically you're giving them a hook to, like, expect something. You've piqued their curiosity, but also you've made it, like, I often say that this is too good for me to send on Facebook. Like, I have to send it on WhatsApp. So what's your WhatsApp number? So then you get their WhatsApp number. How many people what percentage of people give you their WhatsApp number?
Everybody I ask, I would have said 99%.
So everyone bar a few are going to say. So for the people out there who are going to try this and don't get the 100% or don't get the 99%, what would you think? What would you say that they're doing wrong?
It's all about posture. They're like timid. The amount of networkers that I've spoken to over the last month, the massive majority just don't ask.
Yeah, just don't.
3-letter word, ask.
Yeah. So they're just not asking. They're not asking if someone is open. They're not asking if you would give you their details. You're not asking if they would want to have a look at the opportunity.
They're not asking if it's a fit.
It's true.
They're just not asking.
It's so true, and you got to ask. You got to, in order to get, you got to ask. In order to receive, you've got to ask. Okay, so people now have your WhatsApp number.
Yep.
Right. So you have their WhatsApp number, right? Because you always told me that someone is a suspect when they have your details, but they're a prospect when you have their details, because then you're in control, right?
100%.
So you create a piece of content. They comment or they add you as a friend. You message them to say, like, hey, great to be connected. I have something of interest for you to enjoy. It's too good for me to send on Facebook, or I need to send it to you on WhatsApp. What's your WhatsApp number?
Correct.
They give you the WhatsApp number, and then you send them a message on WhatsApp.
Yep.
And what's that message that you say?
It so varies from person to person,
depending
from
on
time to time, from my mindset. It radically changes.
Yeah. But is it like you're going to then introduce them to a video, a presentation, having a conversation?
It's always going to be
and at this stage,
elevating to a close.
And at this stage, you haven't had a conversation with them?
No.
Like, you haven't had a phone call with them? Because I know you're more into doing the phone call stuff. You're more old school with that.
Success like speed.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. So, okay. So then you're going to send a message with the purpose is for them to see the information.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
But I like people to chase me rather than me chase them.
Right. But how do you create that money? Okay. But so far in this process, we haven't talked about that money message. Okay. So how does that look? Like what does that?
Might be one of the messages. Might be, hey John, would you be open to looking at an opportunity where you potentially could be making 10,000 a month every month without interrupting what you're currently doing.
So lead with the business, lead with money.
Always money.
Yeah. Okay. So they then say yes, right? They want more information.
Yep.
Do you then just send them the link?
I would send them a real good video. Whether I produce a video or whether it's my company's video. That's what I would do.
And okay, so then whether you do that's a good point. That whether you do the video or the company does the video, there's 3 questions the video needs to answer as well. What do I have to do? Can I do it? Will it be worth it? So like if the video that you're sharing does not talk about the system, but it talks about welcome to this 7-star presentation brought to you by blah, 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 blah. People are like, well, this is freaking boring.
Yeah.
They need to know what they've got to do. If people are going to get a job, they look at the job description to think, what are the 8 tasks that I have to do? If you like the tasks, you do it. If you don't like the tasks, you might still go for it if you like the idea of the money that they're going to be giving you, right? So you lead with the business, you lead with the money, you send them the link to the presentation, and then you go through the follow-up.
Yeah.
Right?
I've always said that everybody, 7 billion people in the world, only have 2 things in common. Number 1 is sex. Number 2 is money.
Yeah.
We can't promote sex, although some try, but we can promote money all the time.
Right.
That's the hot topic.
So you're not even really asking them any qualifying questions. You're not really kind of getting to know them. You're not building rapport at this stage.
It sounds sad, but no.
Yeah, because you just want to see like, hey, I'm looking for people who are looking. If
Yeah.
you're not, then the presentation is all around like the idea of them making money, the idea of them working from home, the idea of them doing that.
Yeah.
Then when you're following up, are you following up aggressively in terms of like 24 hours after? Are you following up 15?
100%.
And
Yeah.
what's your mindset with
It's
that?
never, ever, ever days or weeks. No point in doing that.
Yeah.
That means you've got a hot potato that's gone stone cold. You got to do it within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Within 24 hours. And what's that?
Otherwise, they're going to forget why you've messaged them.
Yeah.
See, I tend to teach people, listen, if you think you haven't got many contacts, just get your yellow pages, get your book, or drive out and about. You see a painter and decorator's van with a phone number. Take a picture.
Yeah.
When you get home, you then change the phone number into a WhatsApp number. Now, people say, how'd you do that? Well, you knock the 0 off, you put a plus, then you put 44.
If they're in the UK.
Yeah, obviously. Well, this is when you're driving out and about.
Right.
And then you put their phone number, and that is a WhatsApp. Then you can just send a message to them like, hey, I know you're doing painting and decorating, but would you be interested in a second income stream to your business, which will not affect what you're painting and decorating?
Yeah. Sorry, I love my dad has got 1,001 scripts. And sometimes I've heard them all, but I'm making sure that I make notes because some of you guys have access to these notes. So I want to make sure that you have all the notes that I have, and I have a lot so far, which is kind of wild. So lead generation, again, because that's the problem with a lot of people here. They don't have enough leads. So they could go into Facebook groups. They can go into the yellow pages. They could hand out flyers, business cards. They can kind of exchange, networking events.
Whatever.
Yeah, like old school.
Yeah.
Obviously go out and about and just be aware of all the numbers imagine this. You go out and you're aware of the numbers that you see. And you'll have people who are walking with the T-shirts with their number on. You've got, as you say, delivery drivers who are delivering things, or painter and decorators, plumbers. They're all hustling. They're all working their ass off. They could be open, and all it takes is for you to, as you said,
send a message. Would you be open to a side hustle?
Right. Ask, would you be open to a side hustle? Would you be open to a side project? Would you be open to a secondary income?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've obviously gone through the process. What's the follow-up message look like? Because you are a master at creating hooks and curiosity. So when you're following up with someone,
that's all because I always think, what would I relate to?
Yeah.
Not a question, what would I want to send out? No, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's like, what would I relate to? Would I be interested if I got that message or this message or whatever?
Right.
Would I be turned off or whatever, or bored?
And let me guess, money is what excites you.
People might say, oh, that sounds sad. Well,
there's a lot of people here would say that, but a lot of people here would agree with you.
Well, that I have to make a fortune because your mum's got a black belt in shopping.
Yeah. She does love it, to be fair. All right, so you're thinking, okay, I get excited about money. So when you're following up, are you saying, hey, do you see how you can make a fortune with this?
Yeah.
Is that something like that?
Are you open to making a significant income on a regular basis without affecting what you're already doing?
Yeah, and they've already seen the information at this stage. Yeah. So then some say yes, some say no, and then you look to get them through.
Do you realize how simple this is. This is an automated system that takes no effort. If someone thinks they've got to research, they've got to train, they've got to educate themselves, they get turned off quicker than turned on.
Right. So, and then you just looking to set. Do you have like a goal with how many people you want to send this out to?
I would like to say I need to send it out to about 25 people a day.
So you want to invite 25 people through the system every single day.
Yeah.
And then if you were to get 25 people through the process, how many do you think would make it to the end?
I would look forward to enjoying 20%.
20%. Right. Okay. All right. Now, one thing that's amazing with Dad is Dad got me involved in network marketing. And we recently were able to be in a situation where I approached Dad and said, like, Dad, were you up for retiring from the industry and joining our inner circle as a mentor? And as a mentor, what it means is the people who are inside the inner circle, they can book a 15-minute coaching call with my dad whenever they want. And my dad will be on the other end of a Zoom helping them with their recruiting and closing. Now, this is a recruiting strategy, but it's also a closing strategy as well. And Dad has many different strategies. I was telling my mum before, because I was listening in on one of the calls or a few of the calls the other day that you had with different people. And what I realized, and I know this because I share this with people who I coach, is that you are a master at pushing people.
All the time.
Like you know that the limit they put on themselves is not their real limit.
Correct.
And I look back, you actually did it to me a lot. Like you really pushed me. And if you did not push me, I would not be where I am right now. And it's not, and when I'm listening in, I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like, hang on a minute. There's two types of people. The first type of people hates the idea of being pushed. And guess what? They ain't successful. Just going to say it how it is because I've seen it 1,000 times, 1,000+ times. The second type of person who's like, go on, push me. And they do the work. And guess what happens? They're way more successful than they ever could imagine.
I always look at it. There's two types of people. There's not workers and networkers.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's people that just do not want to work.
Yeah. And you as well. I remember, like, I would say, like, you say, what is your commission? And I said $500. And you would say, what, in a day? And I'd be like, no, in a week, right, for example. And you'd be like, oh. And it would be like, what? I thought I was doing all right. And he's like, nope, you need to up your game, Sonny Jim, even though my goal was just to make $300 a month, right? At this stage when this was happening. So you got to get around people who are going to push you. You've got to get around people who are going to force you to do great things. And you've got to get around people who know what they're talking about. So for those of you who are in the inner circle, you already know, make sure you book the call with Dad so that you can get your recruiting and closing questions. For those of you who aren't in the inner circle, obviously it's only open to the people in the inner circle, but I'm sure you'll find information about that at some point. So the last thing that I want to ask you is the system, because you have a belter of a system with WhatsApp, on how you're able to then follow up every single week, every single month, every single year with every single person you've spoken to.
Make notes.
Right? So you're making notes on everyone.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll tell you the story from my perspective. I remember going into my dad's office years ago. Like it was probably 2009, like 15 years ago. And you were just coming towards the end of your newspaper ads kind of era in your career, and you had this piece of paper, loads of A4 pieces of paper, and it had someone's name in big. Then it had their phone number. Then it had like where they lived. Then it had what they did for a living. Then it had like if they've been doing network marketing, how long they've been doing network marketing for. Loads of little bit like tidbits. And then there was like a score out of 10.
Great.
So tell the guys who are tuning in, like, what was that grade all about?
Well, okay. If I'm speaking to somebody and they struggle to string a sentence together, they're going to be lucky if they get a 1.
Right. And the scale is like a potential of how much you want to work with them and how well they would do.
Yeah.
Right.
If somebody comes across where they're asking all the right questions or asking a lot of questions, I would grade them an 8, a 9, or a 10.
Right. So, and I would actually implement that. You're not always going to get it right. Like if I look back in my career, some of the 2s and 3s could end up being aces. And some of the people who are, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, they might not do as well as you would expect. So you're still going to treat them like they have massive potential, but it allows you to get really, when you know you've got a 7, 8, 9, 10 that you've graded, do you think you're more likely to follow up with them, right? 100%. I can't let this person go. I can't
100%.
Tell the guys.
I always turn around and say every dud knows a stud.
Right.
And it's not necessarily that person, but it's who that person introduces you to.
Right. And the 7s, 8s, the 9s, the 10s, if they got, as you said, something about them, then they might have a doorway. But the 1s and the 2s, they might be so hungry. It's not like that's brown. They might be so hungry that they want this to work so they can work as well. Yeah. So in the next part, I want to ask you about the system that you've built with WhatsApp that's enabled you to be able to follow up with people in one click. So I hope you got value from my dad. Go follow him. He's active on Facebook. For those of you dinosaurs out there who still use Facebook, I freaking love Facebook. Go and follow my dad, Simon Brooks. He posts a lot of stuff about the family as well and behind the scenes. But for you guys in the inner circle, you also are checking out my dad a lot as well and speaking with him regularly. So make sure you go and book your next mentor call. All right, Dad, thanks for part one.
You're welcome, mate.
You know what? I absolutely love interviewing my dad. I think I've got like 10 interviews with him from over the years, maybe 20 now. So I've got a really interesting assignment for you based on this, and then we'll close up this summit with some fun stuff. If you have your parents still around, interview them. If you have your kids with you, interview them. If you have aunties, uncles, best friends, interview them. If you have grandparents, interview them. Because what I've realized is I know when the day comes that I lose my dad, it will be the most upset I've ever been in my entire life. It will be the worst day ever, but I'll have hours and hours and hours of footage with me talking about network marketing. I've not interviewed him properly about just life in general. I'm going to probably do that next time I see him, maybe when I'm back in the UK for a little bit. But the idea of me and him talking about the thing that we both love, helping other people, give value at the same time, I will treasure that forever and ever and ever. And I know you will too. So make that tough phone call. Get awkward. Get the camera set up. Doesn't have to be high budget. It just has to be enough for you to be able to treasure it. And if you've lost your parents, heaven has gained another angel, you would give up so much to be able to hear different messages that they've taught you from over the years through a really bad quality video with bad audio. But at least you could see it and have it. So this is one of the missions I'm on, to be able to tell people to interview their close friends, their family, because then you can live and you can tell them their story forever. I know that when Mia grows up and then Mia has kids and then when they have kids, they can watch those videos of their great-great-granddad and their great-great-great-granddad, crazy that to think, talking and discussing. They go, what's this network marketing thing? No way. That's who everyone talks about in the network marketing space, right? Who knows? That's the goal. So anyway, guys, this is now, before we kind of close this summit out with a story I've got for you, this is now the last chance to get the All Access Pass. Do not sleep on this. Don't walk to go get it. Go and run to get it. Make sure the team that you have on this summit go and get it too, because if you imagine this summit, there's a whole other summit with the second part of these interviews, and maybe you're ready to just go out there and implement right now. But what about when you start implementing and you have questions? The questions we've already probably answered in the All Access Pass second interviews. All right, so the All Access Pass is going to cover lifetime access to these recordings, so you have lifetime access to them. You can watch them whenever you want. Has the exclusive behind-the-scenes Part 2 interviews with the 12 different speakers. They are fire, absolute gold. And then entry to the special implementation day, the bonus training, and the recordings with it, that's happening on April the 3rd, and you're going to get access to the recordings of it as well. My dad, I asked him 3 questions. What are the exact steps to set up the follow-up system that he covered. Number 2, what different types of lists should you have? Like who should you be, what should you be saying to what person depending on where they are in the process? And then how often should you actually be doing the follow-up? And I think his response is going to shock you, right? Because his response will just shock you. But it's so good how he says it. And inside of that, I give like a strategy as well of what I've seen work as I've passed this strategy on to other people as well who have implemented it. Okay? So click the green button somewhere around this video. Follow the steps to be able to get the All Access Pass. And don't forget, you get 2 coaching calls with a member of my team if you get access to the All Access Pass and you decide they're optional, the coaching calls, so that they can give you 3 assignments to speed up and accelerate the success that you have on social media, to see if you're a fit for the inner circle. If you are, you have the opportunity to join. And if you do join, then I would love to be your mentor for the next 12 months. Truly, 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 truly. Now, from this point onwards, whether you decide to do the All Access Pass, you decide to join the inner circle or not, just because you got the value, we are going to be continuing to send you emails every week that are going to provide massive value for you. And throughout the year, we do a lot of mini workshops. We do a lot of different summits. We do in-person events as well. We'll have little Black Friday offers and fun things like that. So just pay attention to those emails. Reply to them if you feel compelled to. Click the links on those if you feel compelled to as well. And all I will say is that my number one goal with this is to be able to provide you value and always, always know that above everything else, I'll always be your friend. Because in network marketing, we get a lot of attack and a lot of hate from the outside. But inside, if you're a network marketer who wants to grow, who wants to help people with a personal transformation, who wants to help people earn money, then you're a friend to me and you're a friend worth having. So please know that as you go out on this journey, whether it's with me as your mentor officially or whether it's alone, please know that I'm on your side. I'm cheering you on. And I cannot wait for the opportunity to potentially interview you and highlight you and your story in front of the rest of the world. Because you have what it takes. You have what it takes to be a massive success in network marketing. But tell you what, you'll probably need someone else to believe in you more than you believe in yourself to be able to believe that it's true for you. And if I can be that person for you, then great. If you have someone else to be that person for you, then great. I just want you to win. All right? So, big love to each and every single one of you. This has been so much fun. This is literally the best week of my year every single time we've done. This is the 3rd time we've done it, 21, 22, and now 24. Maybe we'll be back. Maybe we'll be back next year. We will see. Social media is changing so much. You have to make sure you stay ahead of it by keeping up to pace with all the trends and stuff. But for now, have an amazing rest of your day. Go check out the All Access Pass. And I really look forward to seeing you super soon in the email, social media, and hopefully around the world somewhere soon. All right? Kisses to you all. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.